Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another story time for y'all. This is a good one. This is a good one. Okay, so this story is based on the time we had a pedo file living next door. We had a pedo living next door, and it turns out my mom and we had to fight the husband. We had to fight her husband. So where I'm from, Jamaica, as I've said in all my videos, I'm from Jamaica, guys. No matter where you're from, a lot of us have encountered a lot of those people who don't respect that kids are kids, adults are adults. It's illegal, it's against the law, it's immoral. You don't look at a child. It doesn't matter your gender. If you're a male or a female, it doesn't matter who you are. Leave kids alone. Leave the kids alone. Just leave them alone. But this time, the perpetrator was a woman. Our neighbor was a woman, PEDO. We are gonna go ahead and name her Suzette. So Suzette lived next door. She doesn't live there anymore. The last time I went home, she wasn't there. The last few times, it's been years. The whole situation caused a huge breakup. Like, I'll get to that, but yeah. So she was living next door. Her husband was an evangelist in church, and I don't know if she had any position in church at the time, but she was in church. You know those people who every Sunday or whenever there's a church service, they'll be the first to get in spirit or catch a Holy Ghost, and you know those people will be screaming, and she was one of those people. Be one of those people on the ground shaking because she's filled with the Holy Spirit. Like, you could never ever guess that Suzette, the same Suzette that you saw in church catching the Holy Spirit, you could never ever, you would have never thought that that same Suzette was praying in little boys. But yeah, she was. This time, this particular boy was my brother. We live in a small community, so we all know each other. We are all, I wouldn't say we're all friends, but we all speak. We are all in speaking terms, and we were good with the neighbors. My parents were friends with Suzette and her husband. As a matter of fact, Suzette's husband, he travels to work just like my father did when he was alive. But Suzette's husband and my father, they both travel to work. So for like 6 months, 5 to 6 months, or even more, sometimes 7. Yeah, they'll be away. They'll be in the US working, and that was their main source of income. So they did not work the same place, but it was the same type of work. So I realized that Suzette was being extra nice to me. Like, as a child, like, adults are not very friendly. They weren't very friendly. They won't befriend a little girl, or they'll be nice, yes, but not extremely nice. Suzette wanted to be my friend. All of a sudden, Suzette wanted to be my friend, and I just couldn't put my finger on it, but I was enjoying it. I was enjoying it, like, because I thought Suzette was cool. She was a younger wife. She was younger than the other wives. There were like a lot of grandmas and stuff in the community as my neighbors, but Suzette was younger. She was like a breath of fresh air, you know. So it was pretty cool that an adult as cool as Suzette was befriending me, and she was talking to me like, you know, we're on the same level. And I mean, adults don't do that. Like, you don't look at an adult too long. You don't look away. You don't hold a conversation with an adult. Speak when you're spoken to. All that stuff growing up. That's what we knew. Like, we knew our distance. You see adults speaking, you leave. If they're talking to you, yes sir, yes ma'am, you know. That was about it. So when Suzette was talking to me like we're friends, that was kind of new, and I kind of enjoyed it. But I didn't know the reason why, but my brother eventually told me. So, One day we were walking in the community. We were walking in the community, and you guys may call it neighborhood, but where I'm from, we call it community. But we were walking. My father was in the US. Suzette's husband was in the US. My mom, my brother, and we were walking in the neighborhood, and my brother and we were ahead of my mother. I think she was talking to someone, but I don't remember who, honestly. It was so long ago. It was such a long time ago. I don't even remember how old I was. Yeah, I don't remember how old I was, but my brother was a bit older than me. He was like, my brother is 3.5 years older than I am. So I was pretty young, because my brother was like, well, if he was 18, then I was 14 plus. Yeah, my brother was around 18, so I was around 14 plus. So we were walking, and we saw Suzette come in the opposite direction, and my brother was like,
you know, all those times I've been missing. I was over by Suzette. She cooks me food, she blend juice, she made juice for me, she blend all these things for me.
I'm like, stop lying. I was like, stop lying on the big woman, Suzette. And he said,
yeah, I was by Suzette.
And I'm like, why Suzette be so nice to you? Why Suzette feeding you? Why you in Suzette house and stuff? And he was like,
because Suzette want me. Suzette want me.
And I'm like, what you mean Suzette want you? What you mean? Stop lying on the big Christian woman. Don't lie on the woman. And he was like,
alright, watch this, watch this. Anything I ask Suzette for, Suzette give it to me. Just watch this.
So I'm like, okay. So Suzette got closer to us, and my brother was like, because usually I would not call her Suzette. I'll be like, Miss Suzette, or, you know. My brother was like,
Suzette, Suzette, bring back a Guinness for me.
And Suzette was like, okay. And I was like my mouth dropped. I'm like, she just said okay like that. And he's like,
I told you, Suzette give me anything I want. Anything I ask for, Suzette give me.
My brother, he didn't lie to me. He would tell me everything. Like, he would tell me everything. So him telling me that, like, I doubted at first, but you know, I believed it. But it was like,
don't tell anybody, don't tell anybody, don't tell mommy, don't tell daddy.
And so I didn't say anything. So months went by. I don't know what, I guess him and Suzette had an entanglement going on. And it was under, like, no one knew. I knew. I don't think Suzette knew that I knew. But one day we were at the river. Like, if you are from Jamaica, from the rural area, if you're from the rural areas in Jamaica, then you know a lot of people, they wash their clothes in the rivers. So one day Suzette asked me to follow her to the river. So I was at the river with Suzette, and she was washing her clothes. And Suzette was wearing this short white booty shorts. And as a Christian, like the churches I went to back home, you're not allowed to do that. The pastors, if they ever see you, if they pull up at your house and you're in a shorts or something, just believe that. Just believe that when you go to church on Sunday, the pastor will be preaching on you. They'll be talking about you. If you have weave or something in your hair that didn't grow from the root of your head, they are gonna preach on you. If you wear a pants, like, they don't believe women should wear pants. The church I'm from, they don't believe women should wear pants. So if they see you in a pants during the week, grocery shopping, farming, whatever it is, best believe that whenever you go to church on Sunday, that will be the topic of discussion. That will be what the pastor will preach about. Yeah, that's basically how it was. So Suzette was at the river, and Suzette started talking to me, and she started venting. She started venting. She started telling me,
I'm young and people believe that I should dress like old women. I don't need to dress like old woman because I'm married or I'm in the church. Like, I'm pretty, I'm sexy, I got nice legs, I got nice body. I need to show it off. I need to show it off. Young boys are attracted to me. People are attracted to me. I don't need to be dressing like no old woman because the pastor say this or the pastor say that. I'm through with that.
she was saying all that to me, and I didn't know what to say. I'm just a child. I'm just a child. You're a grown woman with two kids, a husband. That kind of conversation was not for me. That type of conversation is something that's held between two adults, but her telling me all that was out of pocket, Suzette. But I was there listening, because what could I do? I can't tell her to shut up, I'm just a child, because you're disrespecting the elder. You're disrespecting an adult, and you're not supposed to do that. You get a beating for disrespecting adults, speaking back, having some facial expression that they think is disrespectful, even though sometimes you're just tired. It's not even that, but your face may look like you're disrespecting them, and you get a beating for that. But yeah, Suzette was just venting. She was like,
I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. I just want to live my life. I'm tired of it.
and I'm thinking Suzette having a mental breakdown or something. I don't know what to say, but I was just there like,
Yeah. Yes, Miss Suzette. Yes, you look nice. Your shorts look nice, Miss Suzette. Yeah.
I was like, yes, man. I was like, yes, man. And Miss Suzette was like,
Right. I know I look good.
but Suzette really wanted to tell me about the relationship, the entanglement she's having. She didn't know if I knew what was happening, because at the end of the day, I didn't know how deep it was. I didn't know how deep it was. I thought she was just feeding. I thought she was just feeding him. She was just feeding him, and yeah, he'd be over there. He was telling me he was eating from her nice, back home, certain plates and cups and forks and knives, you don't use them on a regular. They're locked away in some cupboard or cabinet or whatever they call them. They don't use them on a regular. But you only use those for special occasions, or if you have visitors, or if the pastor or somebody, come by, somebody new, somebody respectable come by, weddings, not even funeral. You don't use those for funeral. You use plastic stuff, but you don't use those on a daily. Those are special. You don't use those unless it's special. But no. Suzette was pulling those out for my brother. My brother was telling me, he was like,
She pull out her nice plate and cup and everything.
he was telling me how he was eating good. Suzette be calling him over for some good food. Suzette's husband came back from the US, and Suzette started wearing long clothes again. She's falling back in line. Remember, her husband is an evangelist. There were people in the community gossiping because people were picking up that there was an entanglement happening. Some people didn't believe it, but some people did. And I think someone told Suzette's husband. So one day Suzette's husband called my brother. My brother told me that Suzette's husband want to talk to him. So I'm like, okay, you gonna go? And he was like, yeah. He went and he spoke with Suzette's husband, but the conversation wasn't about the entanglement. The conversation was, Suzette told me that you've been helping her around the house. You've been looking out for her when I was away. Thank you for that. Thank you for helping my wife feel safe when I'm not around. Just normal shit. So he came back and he told me it was just regular stuff, nothing deep, regular stuff, right? So we're like, okay, forget all these people gossiping, running back to Suzette's husband, saying whatever. And again, I didn't know how deep the entanglement was. Because my brother, he was just a child still. Was he even 18? I'm guessing, no, he was not 18. He was definitely not 18. I was wrong about that part. It was on, because I think he had his first child at around 18. And Suzette was before that. So, yeah. He was definitely not 18. He was underage. And, yeah, so all that's done. He told me everything. My parents knows nothing because I'm not gonna snitch on my brother. Like my brother, growing up from even before my younger brother was born, my older brother was my best friend growing up. I actually fight him one day when he told me to go find my own friends, but that's another story. I beat him up at school. He tried to tell me to go make friends outside of him, and I beat him up at school, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, so he told me that. I didn't tell my parents anything. Didn't tell anybody. That was just between us. Until I think they went to the hospital. Suzette and her husband, they went to the hospital with one of their kids. They had 2 sons. I guess they were at the hospital arguing. And Suzette, people came back and they started talking. That's how my mom found something out. Someone came to my mom and told her that Suzette and her husband, they were at the hospital and they were arguing really loud, and everyone was like watching in shock because Suzette was yelling at her husband and saying,
I don't want you. You only jump on me like ram goat. I don't want you. You're too old. I want a young boy. That's why Miss V is my mother-in-law.
and people was like, Miss V?
Yes, Miss V, I'm your mother-in-law.
People were shocked. They were like, which Miss V? That Miss V?
Our son, I'm a man. Me don't want you. Him know how to anger me. You're old man. Your uncle jump on me like ram goat.
She said that at the hospital. She was yelling all that at the hospital. People came back and told my mom. My mom was in shock. She didn't know what to do. She called my brother. She asked my brother, what's up? Like, what's going on? And I think my brother told her the truth, and it wasn't good. She was mad. My father was still not there as yet. My father was working, and to be honest, I don't remember how she handled it, but she was not good. She was pretty upset. She was upset with the lady. She was upset with my brother. She was upset. She was really upset, but she was left in the dark. As well. It was when people came bombarding her. People came bombarding her with all this information. Like, everyone knew what was happening except for her. All that happened. My brother stopped messing with Suzette. The entanglement is over with. It was so much drama. It was over with. But you know, it was a young boy. Like, he got excited. Like, this grown ass woman. Like, he got excited. You know how boys are. And Suzette didn't look bad. Suzette really did not look bad. Suzette looked good. Suzette looked really good. And she was younger. She was younger than all the other wives there and stuff. So next thing we know, the man showed up. The husband was passing the other day, and his face was swollen and stuff, and he had lost his teeth. Suzette made her brothers beat him up and ask him to leave the house because she don't want him anymore. And he was fighting for his wife. I want my wife. And they beat him up, knock all his teeth out, all that crazy mess. Weeks go by, and the husband showed up to my gate. My mother and I, we were sitting on the, I guess you guys would call it a porch. We call it a veranda. So we're sitting on the veranda, and Suzette's husband called my mom. He was like, V, come here. And my mom was like, okay. And my mom went to the gate, and my mom was talking to Suzette's husband. I was sitting there. I couldn't hear the conversation because they were not talking really high. They were there talking. I was trying to listen because I know it has something to do with the drama. And then I heard the man was like,
You, V! You!
pointing in my mom's face. Like Susan's husband was yelling and pointing in my mom's face. So now I'm sprinting. There was like stairs. My veranda is like really high. And there's like some stairs to come down to get to the gate. So I started running down the stairs now. I saw this man pointing in my mom's face. So I started speeding down the stairs now, and I saw my mama chuck the man. My mama push him and stuff. But by the time he could even try to do anything, he could even try to lift a hand or whatever, do anything, I was there with my mama, and I grabbed a piece of wood. I grabbed a piece of wood from the gate, and my mama grabbed one too. And Suzette's husband started running, and we were chasing him, but he ran so fast and he locked himself in his house. So after he locked himself in his house, my mom and we ran on his veranda, and we started beating on the door. Before that, like, I've always had a lot of respect for him. He's an evangelist in church, and he really don't mess with no one. But after everything with him and his wife and everything, he kind of chipped his head or something, because he came at my mom crazy. So my mother didn't even know anything. But when he's saying he was blaming my mom. Apparently he was blaming my mom for the entanglement, when my mom had nothing to do with it. And he was getting really up in my mom's face, putting his finger like he was ready to pounce on her. So my mom had to push him out of her face. And that's when I started sprinting, and we grabbed the woods and stuff. So we got there, and he was in his house, and he was screaming insults through his window, but his door was locked. And we were beating on the door, and I'm like, come out. We're like, come out now, because I was really mad. Like, you don't come at my mom like that. My father wasn't there. No one was there. You don't come at a woman like that, period. My mom didn't know anything. And you're not going to come at my mom like that. My mom didn't break your marriage up. So, yeah, we were beating on the door. The neighbors started coming out, because whatever happened in the community is so small. It's so small that everyone always hears. Like, it's so small, like if a pin drop, the whole community can hear, because it's a small community, and word travel really fast. Somebody gonna text somebody, call somebody, and be like, guess what happened, such and such, I beat up such and such. So my uncle, he now lives in the community, but my uncle, he was then making his house in the community. So we were there beating on this man's door to come outside. Don't even judge. We were really mad. I was very pissed. And yeah, I was a child, but I don't care if I'm a child or a grown-ass person. You're not gonna come at my mom like that. So yeah, we were out there, and we were really riled up, because we're pretty upset about everything that's been going on. And I don't know, someone told my uncle, someone must have called my uncle. No, my uncle, he crazy. My uncle is crazy. He is crazy. So someone must have called him. Next thing we know, my uncle was riding a bicycle. He was speeding on his bicycle coming. Then he dropped the bicycle, and he rushed on the man's porch. And allegedly, for legal reasons, I'm gonna say allegedly, my uncle had a tool with him. My uncle, he crazy. Like my family. Not everyone. My family crazy, but not everyone. My father is really calm. He's really calm. That's where I get my calmness from. Until you piss us off, and then you cannot calm us down. But it takes a lot to get us upset. My mom, she'll go off at the mouth all day. But she'll be the last one to hurt a fly. But the way her mouth goes off, you'll think she'll do damage. But not my mom. Her mouth is her weapon, and that's it. No, her brother, my uncle, is different. is different. All he's seen is red. All he's seen is red. So when he came and he dropped his bicycle, he had everyone know him for that, because I think he had a fight with the pastor like a week before that was not good. Him and the pastor had a fight, but yeah. But when he came, he had a piece of tool with him, allegedly for a legal reason. And we're like, no, uncle, no, uncle, you can't do that. So my uncle, he was hot though. He was hot. Like he was saying a lot of stuff. He was like, "Don't work, come out of the house." He was telling him, "Come out, please," so that he could do what he gotta do. But allegedly. So all that happened, kind of calmed down. People tried to diffuse the situation, try to calm us down. All that happened. My mama is calm. We're all good. So we left. That situation was done. It was done. He stayed locked in his house for a while. But after that, we didn't even care. The whole situation died down. The woman left. The evangelist, the husband, is still toothless to this day. It's been so many years that all that happened so many years ago. He's still toothless to this day. And I think all that kind of messed with his head, because he has not been the same since. He's not an evangelist anymore, and he don't really function the same. He kind of went crazy. He went crazy after all that situation. Yeah, Suzette and her family, they beat him. They took his kids, his money, everything. And I think one of the boys, I think he was really affected by the situation as well, because I saw him like a year ago when I went home. I saw him a year ago when I was in Jamaica, and he wasn't okay. I don't know if that was the situation, or it's just he is naturally not okay. He was born that way, but he's not okay. And the husband is not okay anymore. He was really good friends with my parents before my father passed, but he's still really good friends with my mom. Last time I went home, they were shelling peas together by the gate. He still come around. He's not passing our house without yelling for my mom, saying hi or whatever. We are all good friends now, but we have not seen Suzette since. I've not seen Suzette. My mom haven't seen Suzette. Yeah. So that was the situation when there was a PEDO file next door, a woman, and that caused us to... Did we fight him? Not really, but yeah. That's the end of my story time, you guys. I'll be back next week with another one. So, thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and guess what? I'll see you guys in my next video. Mwah!